Recording of this session. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for attending this webinar. Basically the training sessions. We have planned some 40 sessions over a period of next 8 weeks. And as we progress, we'll also be sharing the contents. What are the topics that we'll be training in each of the sessions? Today, I think my colleague Manish has already shared this week content. Hope everyone has gone through that content. What are all the topics that we will be training this week?
Yep.
Okay, so before we start this session, some of the things I thought, let me just inform all of you. The best recommendation is please log in from your desktop or laptop. How many of you have logged in from your mobile? Is there anybody who has logged in from mobile?
I am logged in.
Okay. Sir, I would request from tomorrow, please log in from your laptop or desktop, because you will not be able to concentrate and do some work basically. Okay. Mobile is not the appropriate device for this kind of trainings. Okay. And everyone, as we progress, we want you to install TallyPrime on your computer so that you could do an hands-on training. We could do an hands-on training. So how many of you doesn't have Tally on your computer? Can you please put on chat as no, we don't have Tally on our computer, so that my team, Manish and Shivu, will get in touch with you tomorrow. They will take your systems on remote and install TallyPrime. Okay, so those who do not have TallyPrime on your computers, please leave a message on chat box saying that you need TallyPrime installation. My team members tomorrow will get in touch with you during the day and they will do the installation so that you have Tally for practice sessions. Okay. Yeah, some of the things apart from this, this session every day it will be for 1 hour 15 minutes to 1 hour 30 minutes. The topics will be pre-published so that you know what topics that we will be discussing upon. And if you have any questions, okay, don't hesitate. Please ask then and there. Okay, if you don't understand any of the things, it doesn't matter. Okay, please be very bold. Okay, just ask me to repeat those things. I'll be very happy to repeat that. Don't be shy. Okay, because if you are shy, you will be the person who is losing it. So don't worry whether.
Mr. Mahesh.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, I've just joined. I'm sorry, I'm a little late.
No problem. No problem. Good evening, sir.
Internet problem here. Okay.
Okay.
No, there was a stop.
Okay. Okay. So we were just starting. We were just telling what are all the do's and don'ts for this session. So what I would suggest is, if you have any queries, please ask then and there. If you don't understand any of the points or any of the topics, please ask me until you understand. Even if we want to repeat multiple times, we'll be happy to do so. Alternatively, you can also post your questions on chat. And whenever we complete that topic, we will look at the chat questions and we will respond to those chats. Okay, and if you are not able to respond, anyhow, the chat message will be available with us so that appropriate team members will get in touch with you and explain and answer your queries. Okay.
Yeah, Madhu, this is Raghu here. I have one small query.
Yeah,
it will be great if you could able to record it and put those records in our system. Sometime if you're not able to, at least I want to repeat that. It will be helpful for us.
Yeah. So we are recording these sessions. Okay, yeah. But as internally what we thought is the recording will not be available on the next day. Okay, because we need to process those files, and certainly we'll make it available for everyone.
Yeah.
Not be a problem. We are recording every session. Okay, but you will get it in a delayed manner.
It doesn't matter. Just for the reference to understand, since it is more of like education and training. So even it's very important for you to go for even each of these steps to understand how the things work.
Absolutely. We are recording this session.
Okay.
All the sessions will be recorded.
Thank you.
Okay. So these are some of the do's and don'ts of this session. Okay, don'ts is when the actual training starts, please mute yourself. Everyone, please put it on mute so that the others will not get disturbed. I understand all of us today are working from home, and it's very difficult to get a space which is calm. Okay, so yes, we understand there will be some noise, some background music, background messages, background noise there, but never mind. Okay, please put it on mute. Okay, so that you are not disturbing the other lots basically. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay, and ensure that if you are not muting, see, whenever the other persons get disturbed, we will let you know, please mute. Okay, but if you are not muting continuously for 2 minutes, okay, we will mute from the back end. Okay, or if you are doing it multiple times like that, you might also be put out of this group, so that you need to relog in. Okay, so please don't give those options. Okay, I request each one of you to be careful, because there is a group of around 30 members who are in this training session. Okay, so welcome all of you. So this is the first session that we are starting today. So let's start. So the topic of today is the basic accounting concepts and understanding basics of TallyPrime. So TallyPrime is a new version of Tally which got released in last October, November. Before that, we had Tally ERP9, which was there in the market for almost 12 years, which was one of the most successful products which was in the market. Okay, and now Tally has moved to TallyPrime. So Tally ERP9 is retired. Anyone who is using Tally ERP9, it's time for you to migrate to TallyPrime if you are not migrated. In your business, in your office, if you are still using Tally ERP9, please get in touch with us or our team members. We will help you to migrate to TallyPrime. Because all the new updates, whether it's the GST updates or the technology updates, will no more be available on Tally ERP9. It will be available only on TallyPrime. Right? Okay. So let's start this session. So what is the purpose of this training? Why are we trying to do this training? Okay, so what we understand is, at the end of this training session, say like at the end of the next 8 weeks, we want to ensure that each participant learn Tally to the core and basically understand how it can help in their business, either in their business or in their organization, so that there is an increase in efficiency and elimination of duplication of work. So this is the objective, this is the purpose of the training that we are trying to do, so that each one of you will learn Tally. It is not just learning about Tally. When you learn Tally, you will put that into use in your work, so that the efficiency will increase, the efficiency will go up, and a lot of duplication of work that you are doing has to automatically reduce. So these are the two main objectives, two main purpose that we are driving this training session. Okay, so let us understand the basics of accounting. Okay, so most of us would have gone through this in our 11th standard or first PUC, where we took the commerce commerce as a subject, accounting as a subject. But nevertheless, these are the basics, because if we don't understand these basics, then operating on Tally, you might find it much I don't say it's difficult. Okay, you might find it much more tactical, basically. Okay, so let us go through this golden rules of accounting. How many of you know the golden rules of accounting? How many rules are there? Can each one of you type on your chat box? How many rules of accountings are there? Golden rules of accounting. I'll just give 1 minute time. Okay, if you can just help me understand how many rules are there, so that it gives a heads up for us to further discuss. Okay, 3 rules. Okay, okay. Yes. Three rules of accounting. Yes, correct. So there are three rules of accounting. So before we get into these three rules of accounting, the golden rules of accounting that we call, okay, these rules are bound by day-to-day financial transactions. So the first thing is, once when you understand these rules of accounting, you will be able to appreciate how do you update your financial records on a day-to-day basis. So that is one of the critical things. Then rules for debit and credit. So accounting is all about debit, credit. Okay, so what account to be debited, what account to be credited, why the account has to be debited, why particular account has to be credited. It all depends on the rules of the accounting. So it's just like how many of you were watching IPL before it got cancelled? Most of you are watching it, right? So in IPL, you have all the rules. Okay, the rules of IPL, the rules of cricket. Okay, so how the third umpire can take a decision. Okay, how the rules of no ball is played, all those things. Similar to this, accounting also has three golden rules. Okay, so this rule defines how do you record your day-to-day transaction, what are all the rules for debit and credit that you need to follow, and this will make base for all your reporting, accounting reporting systems. So the critical three rules in accounting, the first rule is for personal account. The second rule is for real account, and the third rule is for nominal account. So we will go through each one of these things. Okay, so the rule says in case of personal account, debit the giver and credit the receiver. So whom you should debit and whom you should credit, you should know. So if it's a personal account, debit should, the receiver should be debited and the giver should be credited. Okay. When it comes to real account, the debit what comes in and the credit what goes out. So whatever comes in needs to be debited and whatever goes out needs to be credited. And when it comes to nominal account, the third rule, it says debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So if you understand these three rules, okay, you have understood 80% of accounting. So then it is just application of your mind saying what ledger has to be debited and what ledger has to be credited. So these are the critical things, okay, irrespective whether you are using Tally application, whether you are using Excel application, whether you are using any other software, it doesn't matter. Okay, you should know the rules and you should know which account should get debited and which account should get credited. I'm sure that most of you who are from the commerce background would have learned this in your 11th standard. Okay, it is just a brush up that we are giving you so that for the non-accounting people, it will be very, very important. Let us just go through it. Let us just go through the details of it. So what is personal account? So how do you identify a personal account? Say there are three major ways to look at it. One is any individual account like person's account that you maintain. Okay, whether it's Rama's account, Karim's account, John's account, individual accounts. Okay, so where there is a person who is representing it, okay, that becomes a personal account. Even the artificial persons, so like example, an organization. Okay, so like example, I can say Altus Missionary. Okay, it's an organization. Okay, KGA, Karnataka Golf Association, it's an organization. Those are also basically a personal account. Okay, or example, I've just told us Tata Sons Limited or Wipro Limited, Saraswati Charitable Trust. These are all artificial persons which also form part of your personal account. And there are some representative persons, though they are not an artificial person or an actual person, they are all called as representative persons. So like example, it's a combined account basically. It might be a salary payable account, or prepaid expenses account, outstanding salaries account. So these are all some of the examples of personal account. Okay. So in this, the rule says the debit the giver and credit the receiver. So whoever is, sorry, the debit the receiver and credit the giver. Okay, whoever is receiving has to be debited and whoever is giving has to be credited. The second rule is for real accounts. Real accounts is nothing but an asset account, okay, which is real in nature, okay, and it is further divided into tangible assets and intangible assets. What are tangible assets? Tangible assets are like real, that you can see, you can feel. Okay, so like example, it's a land, okay, or plant and machinery, or your furnitures, okay, or your electrical fittings in your office, or an AC working in your office, or a generator. These are all tangible assets where you can touch, feel. Okay, so these are called as tangible assets, which are real account. There are few intangible assets like goodwill, trademark, copyright. These are some of the intangible assets where you cannot see that asset, you cannot feel that asset, but it has value. Okay. So like example, if I say Karnataka Golf Association, okay, that has its own goodwill, it has its own trademark, it has its own copyright. Okay, similarly, example you take Infosys. Okay, it has its own goodwill. Okay, you take Reliance, it has its own goodwill. Or you take today in this pandemic, we are hearing a lot of medicines, like, right? Ranvizor. Okay, it has its own trademark, it has its own goodwill for that matter. Okay, so these are some of the things. So like example, if somebody is into painting, okay, so they would have copyrighted their paintings. They would have had got their trademarks for their painting. These are some of the intangible assets which will have its own valuation. Okay, so some of the examples of these real accounts. So the golden rule for real account is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So whatever comes in needs to be debited and whatever is going out of the business needs to be credited. Okay, say example, I'm purchasing an asset. I'm purchasing a land for my business. Then I will debit the land account and credit whoever is selling to me. Okay, similarly, okay, if I'm selling land, I will credit the land because land is going out. So I'm selling land, so I'm crediting the land and debiting whoever is purchasing it. So these are some of the examples that you could think of. Okay, the third is basically nominal account. The third rule is for nominal account. Okay, examples of nominal account are all your profit and loss ledgers. The list which comes under your profit and loss. Basically, all your expenses, or if you are incurring any losses, all your revenues, sales, other revenues, all those things. And if you are gaining, okay, profits of the business, these are all comes under nominal account. Okay, so some of the examples of nominal account are wages account, which is an expenses, rent, electricity, commission received, sales account, bank interest, various things that you could think of, which are basically forms part of your profit and loss account. This form parts of your nominal account. So what is the rule for nominal account? The rule is debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So these are the three rules of accounting. Once when you understand these three rules of accounting, let me tell you, the application of this is very, very critical. And once when you understand these three rules, you have understood 80-85% of accounting. See, the reason why we have started with this is basically you need to understand Tally is an accounting application. The base product of Tally is accounting. Around accounting, Tally has built inventory module, Tally has built payroll solution, Tally has the statutories for your GST, okay, for your, if you are into payroll, if you are using Tally for payroll, your income tax, all those things. But the core of the software is accounting. So you need to have a basic understanding of accounting for you to operate on Tally, right? So this forms critical accounting rules, the three golden accounting rules. So users, participants, do you have any questions on this? If you have any questions, you could please ask, you could unmute and ask. By that time, let me also go through, is there any questions on chat? So I'll just give 2 minutes time. Okay, if anyone has questions, please unmute yourself and you could ask the question. So let me see, is there any questions? Raksha Prabhu, copyrights of software. Yes, copyrights of software forms intangible assets. Okay, that's also an asset, but it's an intangible asset. Okay. So I presume there are no questions. Can we move forward? Hope I'm audible. Can anyone confirm?
Yes, sir. We can.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So Bijoy, can Tally be used for construction companies? Yes, sir. Tally can be used for construction companies. Okay. So let's move forward. So as we have understood the basic principles of accounting, now let us move on to Tally. Okay, so let me just take you through Tally and say, okay, what are all the things that we can do it in Tally? Okay, so from now we will start using the Tally as the application. And those who have Tally on your computers, okay, you could look at here to us, look at this, and you could also start doing hands-on. Okay, so anyhow, we will give time for that. Okay, in between we'll give time. So you could first, you just go through this, understand this, then you could also operate hands-on. Okay, so prior to creation of a company, okay, what are all the things that you can do in Tally? Okay, so now let me do one thing. Let me just open Tally application.
Or else morning I'll go, or else evening I'll go.
Okay, fine. Let me just. So I'm just opening Tally application, TallyPrime, okay, which is installed on my computer. So before you create a company, what are all the things that you should be aware of? So the first thing, I have just opened Tally. Okay. So I'll just be toggling on between the presentation and the Tally application so that you will be able to look at it and see how it has been done in Tally also. Okay. So prior to creation of company, some of the things that you as a user should be aware of is the first is the Tally licensing details. Why license details is important? If you don't have license on your computer, Tally doesn't allow you to do any data entry. It will restrict you to do the data entry only for the dates 1st, 2nd, and 31st of the month. So it's very important once when you open Tally, you need to have Tally license. If you do not have, then you will not be able to do transactions between 2nd of the month to 30th of the month. So it just moves into educational mode. So educational mode is very good for training purpose, for us to have a training. So for all of you to have an hands-on training, you don't require license. Okay, you can just use the educational version of Tally and do it. But in your organization, in your office, in your business, okay, if you want to continue to use Tally, the first thing is you need to know how to check the license details. So I have logged into Tally here. Hope you are able to see my Tally screen. Okay, so on the top, you can see on the left hand top, there is something called license details. If I just click on that, it is showing me the license information. Here you could see the information which says the application installed is licensed. There is a serial number which is showing over here. It says 745639983, which is typically the Tally license number on this computer which I'm using. And what is the license edition, whether it is silver license or gold license? Okay, Tally comes with 2 flavors, single user, which is called silver license, and gold, which is called multi-user license. So currently I'm using single user license, and the software license update is available till 30th November 2021. So every year I need to renew this software. Virtual user limit is 1, where I can log in from outside my office, and it has been registered to an email ID. You could also see the email ID and all this details. So every time you log in, you should get this license number. If you don't get the license number, you will not be able to do any new transactions. Okay, there will be some restrictions in the software. So this is one thing that you need to know. The next on before you create a company is, where is the data stored? What is the database path? So where is the data getting stored, that you need to know. So to know that, okay, again, when you go on to Tally, so once when you have logged into Tally, on the top, you see some menus, okay, which says various menus, which is showing over there. Okay, so through this menu, you can actually understand, okay, what are all the operations that you could do. So here, if you look at, first, I showed you what is the license details. Basically, once when you click on this, you'll get the license details. The next is basically where the data is getting stored. To know that, you need to go to data. On the top menu, you are getting a data. Click on this data, and you will be able to see data path under configure. Click on this data path. So it is showing you the company data path is stored on which drive, which path. So it is typically stored on TallyPrime data in my computer. So this is the path under which the data gets stored. So you should be aware of it. If you want to change the path, you could always go and change the path. Whichever path you want, you could change that. Possible. Right? The next is basically where the data backup is stored. See, one thing is, as Tally user, you have to take regular backup of the data, because data is stored on your local computer. If something goes wrong, if your computer crash, if something goes wrong, if your OS crashes on your computer, there are high chances that you will lose the data, because the data is never getting stored on your cloud or anywhere. It is just on your computer. So backup is very, very important. Backup is nothing like, I always tell in all these sessions, backup is like an insurance. The value of the premium that you have paid for insurance, you will realize only if something goes wrong, right? If nothing goes wrong, you will always feel, why am I paying this insurance? This insurance, it's waste of money. But whenever something goes wrong, you will understand, you will appreciate the value of the premium. Similarly, if you are using Tally, the backups are very, very important. So we recommend you to take backup on a daily basis. Whenever you complete your work and before switching the computers off, you can go and take the backup. So here in this, what we are explaining here is how to set up the database path, backup path, in which path it has to take the backup. So here I've just created one folder called tally backup under e:/TallyPrime. So I'm just selecting that tally backup. Okay, so similarly, you could have your own path, you could define your own path, and you could take the backup. Okay, next, country settings. So even before you create data, the first thing is you need to set up the country settings. So where do you set the country settings? Because Tally is used across the globe. The almost in 80 countries, Tally is being used. So the first thing is you need to go and set up the country settings. For that, go to help, go to settings in the help. Here you get country. You could select the default, which is the country that you want default. So it is showing all the countries. Okay, you could set up whichever the country you belong to. In our case, it is India. Just select India. Okay, so that it takes all the inheritance of India, it takes into consideration. Then accounting terminologies. What are all the accounting terminologies it is used? Since you have selected India, it is India and SARC accounting terminologies, or you could change it to international. Okay, so you can set up these things. And the next is data and date and number format. What is the format that you want to use for date? So you could use DDMMYYYY or MMDDYYYY or year, month, date. So date, month, date, year, or year, month, date. All these three format Tally supports. Then the year, you want 4 characters for the year or 2 characters for the year. Okay, so you could define that. Default, it will be set to 4 characters. Then space between month, year is what is the space, dash, whatever the separators that you want to use, and configure that. So this is about the data, country, data configurations, date configurations. Okay, then startup configuration. Basically, in same, if you get into help and get into settings, so there is a startup configuration which says when you start Tally, which company you want to default load. So if you have multiple companies created, multiple database created, which data it has to get loaded. Once when you start Tally, that you could define. Okay, so automatically it will start updating that. Or if you don't want to start any company, you could just say click on end of list. So it says there are no companies that has got selected. Okay, then you could say start application in full screen or not. Okay, so these are all some of the configurations that you could set up before even you create the company. Then you could also set up the display settings. Same, if you go to help, settings, you could go to display settings. Okay, how do you want to see the display? So display name of ledger and groups. You want to see name or name and alias. How do you want to see? So alias is nothing but codes that generally the customers use. Similarly for stock items, similarly for employee masters. Do you want to see monthly graphs in Tally? You could enable that. In case if you are using payroll, do you want to see the resigned employees also? You could enable that if you want. And do you want to see final accounts in gateway of Tally? Okay, that we will come to it once when we start showing you various other things. Okay, then color and sound, you want to enable those things, bright color or soft colors, you could configure. Right, these are some of the settings before you start. Then there are some settings for import and export. So any report that's available in Tally can be exported into Excel, it can be exported into PDF format, XML format, JPEG formats, various HTML formats basically. So if you are exporting it, to which path it has to get exported is what you could set up in the configuration. So in this configuration example, I have set it up as TallyPrime export files. Okay, so you could go and set up your own path. Okay, so that whenever you export the data from Tally, it will automatically get exported to that particular file. And you could also say open on export so that it will automatically open that file also. And if you have banking instructions file for doing the bank reconciliation, so where that has to get stored, you could set up that path also. Okay, so this is about your export. Similarly, you could set up the email configuration. Any report that's available in Tally can be automatically mailed from the application directly. So for that, you want to set up the configuration, you could set it up over here. You could go to configuration, okay, and click on, do you want to say CC, BCC, okay, reports, date margin, date range, okay, all these things that you could set up over here. Okay, and you want to set up predefined messages, you could set up that. Okay, add recipients, set number of copies, all those things that you could set it up over here when it comes to email. This we will discuss when we look at the output formats and the mailing concepts in Tally. Okay, then comes the printing configuration. Whenever you want to print, to which printer it has to print. If you have multiple printers, you could set up and select the printers. Okay, to which printer it has to print. So I have multiple printers set it up. So it is just showing me the list of printers. I could select the printer, and even I could select the configurations of the printer. Default, it has to print on landscape or portrait. I could go to advanced features and set up all the paper size and everything. All those things could be set up over here. Then preview. Do you want to set preview as default so that whenever you print, first it will show it to you on the screen. Then if you are satisfied, you can print so that you could avoid wastage of printing. That could also be done. Okay, and other info, other configurations, what is the margins that you need to leave, all those things that you could set up over here. So these are some of the configurations that you need to set up or you need to know before even you create a company in Tally. And last configuration is, if you go to help and you want to see about information, it is just like it gives all the information which relates to Tally and your computer on this screen. So which product you are using and which release. Tally will be coming out with one new releases every now and then. They will be doing a lot of updates because GST is every day, the government is making one or the other changes in GST to this effect. At least every month or every 45 days once, Tally comes out with new release. So current release is 1.1.4, that is what it is showing over here. And where the application is installed, path, okay, number of other applications installed, other locations it's installed, which is specified there. And the computer information is also available over here. So this about will give a good information if something goes wrong, if you need to debug what is gone wrong in the computer, this will help basically. Okay, so some of the things that you need to know about configurations even before you start creating the database in Tally. So are there any questions? So let me just go on, look at chat. Is there any questions? Okay, some of the questions are there. Okay, so Vijay is asking, will the slides presented here be shared separately? Yes, we will share this slide. We will share this presentation. Don't worry, you could go through this presentation once again if you need. Okay, any demonstration of screen share would be an added advantage in much better. Okay. I didn't understand this question. Palini Kumar, any demonstration screen share would be an added advantage in much better understanding. I understand that you are asking for this presentation. If that is there, yes, we will share the presentation. Or if your question is some other thing, Palini, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, when I mentioned, it was about when you demonstrate about, app experience, it would be better so that, I can understand, because, I'm basically not a computer guy. So hence I'll be missing, many important points. That's why, if it were to be delivered through, sharing some screenshots, screen shares, it will be an added advantage to understand better. That's my.
Okay. So what we are doing is we are recording this session. We'll share the video itself.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah. Okay. Narendra, what if we want to export data to an external hard disk? Narendra, you could set up the external hard disk drive also, rather than selecting D or E colon. Okay, it will list out your external hard disk drive. You can configure to that. It is possible. Okay, Gautam serial number, it's fine. Palani, don't have Tally. Okay, we can install it. Can we use TallyPrime without uninstalling Tally ERP9? SSA, who's this? I'm not sure. SSA, who is asking, can we use TallyPrime without uninstalling Tally ERP9? Yes, you could do it. Okay. Do you have auto update options whenever Tally updates? Vasant Kumar, yes, there is Tally auto update options. I will explain to you. I'll show it to you. Okay, so if you want to have auto update options, you could set it up. Okay, so if you go to F1 help, so there is upgrade. Okay, here you could set it up so that whenever there is a new installation, it will remind you. Okay, and on a click of a button, it will automatically update. Okay, currently since I'm using the latest one 1.1.4, okay, it is not giving me any instruction. But if tomorrow 1.1.5 is released, here on the help, I will get one more red color dot, which specifies that there is one new update. So I could just click on that and click on update, it will automatically update. Okay, so hope I have answered your query. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to be
this is Raghu here before going. What is usually the
looked at before you create a company. Okay, then let us move on to how do we create company in Tally. Once you have set up all these things, the first thing is you need to create a company. Okay, creation of company is like basically if you can just compare this with manual writing of books. So if you are doing a manual writing of books, what are you going to do? You basically go to a stationery shop, get one cash register. Okay, you get one ledger book, you get one sales register, right? Some of the registers that you get physically, you get those register and you start updating. But in Tally, as a software, you need to just create one company, okay, and start updating that. So let us just get into Tally. Okay. So once when you log on to Tally, okay, I'll just re-log in so that you are all aware. I'm just closing Tally, quitting Tally. Okay, and I'll just re-log in. So quit to Tally, Control Q is if you want to quit Tally. Okay, Control Q is what the shortcut key. Okay, so I'm just say here is my icon. Okay, Tally icon. I've just got it to the center of my screen. Okay, so I'll just double click on this. So it's opening. First, it will search for the license. It will look at the license and it will open the software. If the license is not there, okay, it will say it is running on educational mode. So now this is the first screen what I have got. So if I want to create a company, on the same screen, I have an option to create company. So I could just double click on this. Okay, so this is what the company creation screen. So example, I'm just saying Meda Consultancy Services Training Company. Okay, so this is my company name. Okay, then there is something called mailing name. Mailing name and company name can be different. Mailing name is whenever you are printing any of the reports, under what name it has to print. Example, I'll give you. I can create my company name as MCS and mailing name as Meda Consultancy Services. Okay, so these two things can be different. Okay, so example, I can just say training company. Okay. Address, you can type the address. Okay, then state, which state this organization registered. Okay, so select the specific state, then PIN code. Okay, see, only company name is mandatory, all others are optional. If you have the information, you can update. If you don't have the information, you could leave it blank. You could update later also. Okay, next comes financial year beginning from which date the financial year begins. So from that date, 12 months it will count and it will close the books of accounts. So in India, in Indian standard and Indian practice, according to India's various laws, we start in the month of April and close by March. That is the financial year we use. So we are taking the 1st April 2021, then the books beginning from. So these are two different dates actually. The books beginning from might be later to 1st April 2021 also. The example, I'll give you a few of the examples. I'm starting a new company on 1st of June. So since I'm starting on 1st of June 2021, my financial year is between April 21 to March 22, but my books will beginning from 1st of June 2021. So I will not have any transaction from April to May 31st. So in case the businesses are opening newly, so all business will not open on 1st of April. Okay, few will open on Deepavali day, somebody will open on Shankranti day, somebody will open on some good day that they believe, or few people will open on their birthday. Okay, so different organization creates on different dates. So the book beginning from either can be the same 1st April 2021 or any other actual date it has started, not prior to 1st April 2021. So for the continuing businesses, it will always be the same date, 1st April. But for new businesses, you can set up actual date of starting of the business. Hope it's clear. Okay, and the base currency and formal name. Once when you create this company, so I'm just saying, yes, accept this. Okay, it has created the company and it is asking for some of the configurations, company features that I need to enable. So it's asking me maintain accounts. Do you want to maintain accounts? Yes, I want to maintain accounts. Then do you want to enable bill-wise details? Bill-wise details are nothing but for all your suppliers and vendors, do you want to track bill-wise receivables and bill-wise payables? So they might have one total balance. Under that, if you need a breakup, then you need to have bill-wise details. Okay. Then, do you want to maintain inventory also? Is what it is asking. So basically, broadly, there are three kinds of businesses. One, which are into trading. So what they generally do, they buy the products and they sell the products. So they don't do any other thing. They just buy from the supplier and sell it to the customer. So those are all traders. The second type of organizations are manufacturers. So what they do is they buy raw material, manufacture a product and sell that. So manufacturer is also a trader because he is buying the material, but he is not selling as is where is. He is actually converting the raw materials into a semi-finished goods or a finished goods and selling it. So he is a manufacturer. So manufacturer is also a trader. So whether it is a pure trader or trader and manufacturer, in both the cases, inventory is required. So maintenance of inventory will be very critical. The third kind of businesses are into services. They don't deal with any products. Okay, they are only the service providers. So for them, inventory might not be required. So like example, I'll tell you, chartered accountants, doctors, lawyers, okay, those who provide technical consultancy, they don't deal with any products. They just deal with their professional services. So those kind of organizations might not require inventory. In those cases, you can disable it and make it as no. So it's all configuration. If you want, you could enable that, or you don't want to use it, you could just disable it. The next is whether GST is applicable for this business. So according to Indian GST law, any organization who crosses 40 lakhs of turnover has to register under GST. So any organization who has less than 40 lakhs of turnover in a financial year, they could choose not to register. So again, it's a configuration whether you want to enable the GST or not. Yes or no is what is being asked for. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so if you enable GST and click on yes, then it will ask you what is the GST number and from when it is applicable. So first is the state, it is taking from the company you have created, base state, and what kind of registration you have. Are you a composition register or a regular register? So there are two kinds of different registrations that's available. A composition registration registered dealer is one who just pays tax based on the turnover that he is doing. Okay, if he is a trader, he will pay 2% of his turnover, and if he is a manufacturer, he pays 1% of on the turnover. So irrespective whether he makes profit, loss, it doesn't matter. He will just pay that, but he will not be eligible for input tax credit. He cannot take any input tax credit. And a regular dealer is one who can take the input tax credit, and for him all GST laws will be applicable. Okay, so based on this, so in this example, I'm just taking it as a regular dealer. Assessee of other territory, no. From which date the GST is applicable, then specify the GST number. So GST number is typically 15 characters, which GST number has. The first 2 characters represents the state code. Next 10 character represents the PAN number, and the last 3 character represents various a type of entity, number of locations, various combinations it has. Okay, so that is how it has been configured. So it's a 15 digit GST number. Then periodicity of filing your GSTR1. Okay, whether you are filing it on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis. So government has introduced the GST GSTR1 filing based on monthly or quarterly. Those who have less than 5 crores of turnover can opt to file GSTR1 on a quarterly basis. Okay, it's an option. They can choose to file it on a quarterly basis, or they could continue to file on a monthly basis. But those who have more than 5 crores of turnover mandatorily has to file on a monthly basis. So there is an option that you could decide. You could take whether it's monthly or quarterly. Okay, GST rates, all these things that you could configure, this will come, we'll discuss once when we are discussing on GST basically. Okay, whether e-invoicing is applicable. Businesses who have more than 100 crores, e-invoice is applicable today, mandatory. So if the business is more than 100 crores, you can enable that and update e-invoicing directly from Tally. Okay, accept. Is TDS applicable? Okay, if you have TDS, you could enable that also, and you're configured. So now, as you have configured, you are on gateway of Tally right now. So you have created a company, you are given the required information, and the company is created. So this is the first screen. It is called gateway of Tally. Okay, on the left hand side, you could see which is the company that is opened. So I've just created something called MCS Training Company, and last date of voucher, date of last entry, it says no vouchers entered. Okay, and the current date is 1st April 2021, and the financial period, the current period is from April 21 to March 22. This is the basic information which is available on your screen. And one thing that you need to understand, Tally doesn't go by the computer date, system date. Okay, you could enter any dates, you could enter the future date transaction, you could enter the previous date transaction. Okay, Tally will still accept all those things. So it doesn't go by the system date. Okay. Now, once you have created the company, any software for that matter will have 3 options. Okay, so what we did now, we created the company. Okay, how do you alter whatever you have created? Okay, and company features. We saw that company features, what are all the things that you want to enable. Okay, so now by mistake you have entered the wrong data. You have entered the address wrong, or you have entered the email ID or various things. Okay, if you have entered it wrongly and you want to genuinely correct it, you can go and alter it. So how do you alter the company information? Again, go back to Tally. Now you are on gateway of Tally. You could just go to company on the left hand top. Click on that and you have alter option. Click on alter option. Now the company creation is on your alteration screen. You could go and change whatever you want to change. But do not change this dates, financial year and the books beginning from, because if you already made some transaction, you might lose the data if you are changing the dates. So do not change those dates. Okay. So I'll do one thing. I'll just give 2 minutes, 3 minutes time. Those who have Tally on your computer, TallyPrime on your computer, can you just go and create one sample company? And if you have any challenges in doing it, please let us know. We will help you out in doing it, so that you could create a company in Tally. So let us just, I'll wait for 2 minutes. Okay, and as and when you have created, okay, please put it on chat. Yes, you have created the company. So it will come to know.
What about the people we don't have? Hello.
Sir, I'm unable to hear you. It's very feeble. Can you speak a little louder?
Sir, we don't have Tally. How do we do that?
Sir, do one thing. Leave your name and mobile number. Tomorrow, one of my colleagues will get in touch with you. Give your computer access. They will install and give Tally to you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
And since the other guys are working, another question. What will be the actually renewal fees for yearly for Tally renewal software?
Sir, if you are on a single user Tally, it will cost you 4,250 including GST.
Okay.
If you are on a multi-user Tally, it will cost 12,750 including GST.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So did everyone create? Raksha has created. Deepika madam has created. Others? Hope you are still doing it. Okay. Chetan created. Srinivas Reddy. Gopal. Good. Okay. Let me just wait for one more minute for users to create. Deepak, create ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ? Okay. Okay, so still participants are updating. Okay, let me just wait for one more minute before we move forward. Okay. Good. Okay. Yeah, we'll move forward. Was there any challenge? Did any one of you had any challenge in doing it? Or do you need any help? Okay, hope no one has any challenge. Okay, so we'll move forward. Narendra Rao, it's auto configured. I didn't understand, sir. Okay, fine. So let's move forward. Okay, so GST and TDS is auto mentioned as yes. Okay, if it is auto mentioned as yes, you could continue, or if you don't want to enable that, you could go and disable it by making it as no. Okay. So now all of you, most of you are on gateway of Tally. Okay. So now how the software operates? Any software for that matter, it is not just only Tally. Any application has three major things that it does. One is there is an input of data. Second, there is a process of data. Third, there is an output from the application. Okay, so these are all the basic things that you would have learned in your college with the information technology subject. Any application will have input, it will have process, it will have output. Even that is true with Tally also. Okay, Tally has input, Tally does the process, Tally gives you the output also. So input is in form of updating masters, updating vouchers, and some portion of utilities that you use. So on gateway of Tally, you can see it has been divided into various sections. There is a master section, there is a transaction section, there is utilities section, and there is report section. So all your inputs, you can update in terms of masters or in terms of transactions. So under master, you have create or alter of the masters. Under transaction, you have vouchers, and daybook is the report basically. Okay, so this is your input. Process in Tally is automated. Every time you ask for a report or you ask for an information, you go to a specific menu and ask for the information. It will automatically do the processes. So there is nothing called stored reports in Tally. Every time you want to look at a report, it generates a new report based on the data available. So that is how the process works in Tally. And output is in form of reports. Okay, so for accounting, there is standard reports like balance sheet, profit and loss account, trial balance, ratio analysis, sales register, purchase register, uh, day book. Okay, so Tally has more than 480 reports inside Tally. With various combination, it runs to some thousands of reports. All those represents your output of the data. So input is in form of your masters and transactions. Process is automated inside Tally. Every time you request a report, it does the process, and the output is in form of reports. Either it might be reports, it might be your invoice, it might be your voucher report, whatever it is, it's in the form of reports. So Tally also handles your input, process, and output. Okay. The next is basically, okay, before we get into the input, process, and output, okay, now we have created the data. Okay, initially, before creating the data, I showed you how to set up the backup configuration. Where do you set up the backup configuration? Okay, now you need to understand how to take backup. How do you take Tally backup, and what are all the different ways of taking Tally backup? So the first way of taking Tally backup is through application itself. Say example, I have created a company here called MCS Training Company. Now I want to take a backup. I can go to company on the top. Okay, sorry, I can go to data on the top, and I have backup as an option. Click on backup. Okay, so it is asking which company you want to take a backup. So there are multiple companies. I can select which company I have to take a backup, and on the top you can see over here which says which is the path it is taking the backup. So it is in this, it is taking on TallyPrime Tally backup folder. Okay, so let me just open that backup folder to you to show. Okay, the effect of it, TallyPrime, Tally backup. So this is the folder. So if you look at this folder, it is blank currently, right? So you don't find any files over here. Now I go to Tally and I will say I want to take backup of MCS training company and click on end of list. Now once when I say accept this, yes, it has in a split of a second, it has taken a backup. And now that backup data is available on your backup folder. So this is backup file, which is very small, 107 KB, because we have not even entered any transaction. We just created. And it creates by the name TBK 900. TBK represents Tally backup. Okay, 900 represents that the file format basically, and underscore it's giving 10001. Okay, so that's the company number. So one thing that you need to understand, once when you create a company, internally, it will give file numeric code as a folder and it will create the data. Okay, say example now if you go to TallyPrime data folder, you will find two folders, one has 10,000 as one has 10,001. So if you just get into it, TallyPrime data, see here, you are finding two folders. One has 10,000 and one has 10,001. So this is your data folders. So if you get into Tally, so here you are able to see this 10,000 is ABC and Co. and 10,001 is MCS training company. Clear? And that is what it has got created over here in data. And if I go to the backup, I just took only 10,001, that is MCS training company, I took a backup. So it's saying as 10,001. Now if I take the other company backup also, so if I just go to Tally and click on data and say I want to take a backup of ABC and Co. End of list, accept, on a split of a second it has taken backup. Now you could also see TBK 900 underscore 10,000, that is Tally backup 900 underscore 10,000. So this is one more backup. So this is one way of taking backup. This is taking backup directly from the application. The second way of taking backup is copying the data folder itself. So now you know where the data is stored. You know the data is in TallyPrime TallyPrime data. So just go to that folder, TallyPrime data folder. These are the two files. Copy this. Okay, just click on copy. Okay, go to whichever folder you want. For example, I want to go to D:. Okay, and I want to store in Tally backup. So here I'm just clicking, creating one folder by today's date and paste it. Or it might be on your pen drive. Take a copy on your pen drive or on an external hard disk. Or you could even zip this and email it to your email ID or put it onto your Google Drive. Wherever you want, you could save. Okay, so this is the alternate method of taking backup. So both the ways you could take a backup and ensure that you are reducing the risk of losing the data. Okay. So one more thing that you could do is, I have seen a lot of organizations, how they take backup is every day they have a different folder so that it doesn't overwrite. Say example, today I want to take a backup directly from the application. I can just go to data, click on backup. So which path I want to take. So I can just click on this path, okay, and click on up. So here I have Tally backup, okay. Under Tally backup, I want to create one more folder. Okay, so what I'll do is, example, I'll just click on slash and I will type it as today is what, Monday. Once when I type it as Monday, See here, it's saying file path, okay, as Monday, and it is asking this folder is not available. Do you want to create? Because Monday folder is not available inside backup path, but I'm creating it as Monday. So because every day I want to create a separate path, so I could just say yes, it creates a path as Monday, and I can take a backup of all the data at one shot. So here example, I'll just show you here. See under backup, not this, I'm sorry. Yeah, under this backup, see here it has created one called Monday as a folder. Now, okay, inside this, if you look at, there is no data over here, it is blank. Now in Tally, if you just click on accept, so on a split of a second, it has created and both the data are available. It has taken at 8:17 p.m. by 10th of May 2021 at 8:17 p.m. So similarly, tomorrow you could just say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So every day you could have a separate backups. Those things are also possible. But let me remind you, backup is a must. You have to take a backup at the end of the day. Because as I told you earlier, it's just like an insurance. Okay, if you lose even one day of data, it might become very tedious for you to sit and redo the whole thing. Okay, so this is about how do you take backups. We spoke about input, process, and output. Okay, what are all the various reports that you could get? Okay, and I think today we have completed the subtopics what we had planned for. Now it's open for questions. If anyone has any questions, you could unmute and ask, including Prasad, if you have any questions. Okay, so by that time, let me also look at the chat box. Is there any?
Hello, Mahesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me, Bijoy.
Yeah, yes, Bijoy.
The construction industry, does it fall under the manufacturing sector, or which sector? Within you three kinds of businesses are there.
Right.
Trading, manufacturing, and services.
Right.
Construction will fall under manufacturing. Am I right?
Yeah, because you are manufacturing the buildings, house or commercial establishments or anything.
That's right.
You are buying raw material and you are converting into
We'll be having inventory also.
Product. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Mahesh, this is Raghu here.
Yeah, Raghu.
Yeah, what will be the cost of this Prime now for single user license?
It will cost 18,000 plus tax, sir. It comes to 21,240.
18 plus tax.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Raghu.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and plus you have to have the annual renewal of 4,000 something, right?
Yeah. So the first year it will be covered when you buy by paying 18,000 plus tax. For 1 year, you will get all the free updates. From the second year, you have to pay 4,250. See, the license is perpetual, means the license will work for your lifetime. But if you need updates and upgrades, you have to subscribe to that. Okay, it is not mandatory, but since if you will be using all the latest capabilities, features and all, okay, it would be much more better for your business. Even if you don't renew, the license will continue to work.
Mahesh, sorry for this. This entire module contains entire inventory also, right?
Yeah. See, Tally, when you buy software, it comes with accounting, inventory, payroll, and statutory. All the things are available.
Okay.
Which you want to use is left to the customers.
Okay. Including invoice, billing, everything can be done in one shot.
Yes. Deepika is asking, what is the cost to convert ERP9 to Prime? Madam, if you don't have the TSS, you have to renew the TSS, then it will be eligible for you. But anyhow, Deepika, one of my colleagues will get in touch with you. Okay, we understand you are using multi-user. Okay, they will discuss with you. Is there an option for securing a company's data through given password? Yes, Gaurav. The password management is available as part of default Tally that we will be discussing when we discuss on the security portion.
How long it takes, Madhu, to implement one tally system for the organizations which has around about 40, 20, 30 plus type of people?
Sir, see, basically what happens is when you start implementing, within 4 hours, we can start with your basic details, like your invoicing, configurations, various things.
Okay.
Okay. But to understand your complete requirements and do it, it might take around 15 days to a month. But on day one, you could start with your invoicing, generation of your invoice, generation of your GST and everything.
And old data can be uploaded, right? You should
Yes,
have
yes,
import
yes.
and export. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Could be done. Okay, are there any more questions? I'll just leave 2 more minutes. If anyone has questions, please unmute and ask the question. Okay. How was today's training? Was it fast? Was it okay? Or was it very slow? Were you able to follow? Do I need to make any changes to it?
So far it's good.
Sorry.
Okay. Fine. So, meanwhile, if you could share your experience by recording a 1 minute or 2 minutes video, okay, was about how was your experience? Okay, it will be helpful. Okay, you could please record it from your mobile and share it on WhatsApp group so that the others will also get to know your experience. And make use of this group extensively. Okay, you could even post your queries, questions in that group.
Madhu, sorry, this is Raghu here. I think most probably I will be doing tomorrow because since I don't have a system in place.
No problem, sir.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we would look forward for your inputs on the experience of today's training. Okay, so just a short slide, 1 minute introduction about us. We are a 5-star Tally sales and implementation partners. We have more than 400 satisfied customers with us. We do custom specific trainings as we are doing now. We do custom specific development on Tally. Okay, for us, the customer comes first. So we work on customer satisfaction rather than, see, our objective is not to sell Tally to anyone. Our objective is to help the organization to increase their efficiency. So in that, we also end up selling software. We also end up selling our services, various things. Okay, so that is how we would like to measure our commitments. So these are our contact details. Anytime you could just get in touch with us. So if there are no questions, can we close this session for the day?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time. So tomorrow we'll again connect at 6:55. And if you have any queries, questions, concerns, please put it on chat. Okay, our team members are also there as part of the chat. Okay, we will take your inputs, we'll take your questions, and we will revert back to you. Thank you. Thanks.